afternoon. For this first Sunday reflection, there were a couple of things that stuck out to me. The first one was the machine metaphor, and the other two were the theory X and theory Y. First, I'll talk about the machine metaphor and how the workers are just parts, and the workers as a machine parts don't really have the understanding to ask the questions, but just work. And then the managers are the ones that who decide everything. The workers are getting paid and they're just expected to do the work efficiently. I am a teacher, and I feel like sometimes the machine metaphor is like exact metaphor for my job. Like, I am just there to work and educate these children, and our principals are like the managers, and they are the ones that get to tell us what to do efficiently and effectively. And also, the people above the principal, like, the curriculum and directors and the curriculum writers and the superintendent, and all those people are kind of like our managers too, but just a little higher than our principal. And I feel like they are just giving us the work that we need to do, and hopefully that we do it efficiently and effectively, with the outcomes of our students who are successful on their testing and whatnot is what they want to see. And sometimes I wish we were not so much machines, or I've thought of as machines, because I know we are not machines. We are there to, help our students be successful. And I know we have to be efficient and effective, but sometimes I feel like we are just a machine. Like, we are there to push out, push everything to these little kiddos in a 30-minute span, hope that they get it, and then, repeat the process all over again. And it's not that we don't, want to ask questions or don't, understand what we're doing, but I think the expectation is that we're going to do whatever they tell us, and if we don't do it, we're going to get in trouble. Because this has happened to me before, where I've been questioned about something I'm doing in my classroom and why I wasn't doing what I should be doing. But luckily for me, I was able to go in when the principal called me into the office and to talk about the situation. I was able to explain to her, well, I was out one day, so I was a little behind, but I also know my students, and what I was doing for that day, I was doing the best for my overall group of students. Maybe what they wanted me to do would have been good for only 2 or 3 kids. And I know being efficient and effective, that wasn't what was the best for my kids to be efficient and effective in that day. So luckily for me, I had, I could back it up with why I was doing stuff. But sometimes I just wish, we were not so much like machines, because there are days where I feel like I am a machine and I do the same thing over and over and over again. And it doesn't help that I teach 3 math classes in a day, so it does feel like a machine. But I wish we were able to ask more questions and have more flexibility in terms of what we're able to do in a day, because I think our days would be so much better. Now on to moving to theory X and theory Y. I've been blessed this year, I guess, with being thrown into of a more of a leadership position in my grade level, which I talk about in my paper that I am not unhappy about, but it's just not what I think is best for me. I guess, well, maybe not what's best for me, but I'm not comfortable with. And it got me to thinking about what type of leader I would like to be. Do I want to be one like Theory X, where I think people are unmotivated, I think people are lazy, they need to be motivated, they need encouragement? Or do I want to be more like the Theory Y, where, whoever I'm leading in my grade level, they want to work, they're ready to, provide me with support too. They have self-control, when they're doing their work, and they are expected to do these things, that they're going to do these things without rewards and encouragement, and they want to do good work. But that leads me to also discuss, I feel like the person I was working with here recently was a little unmotivated, I would say a little lazy, I guess to my standards, and what I was hoping that he would bring to the table so that we could collaborate as a team together, and I could lead him in the right direction. So I don't necessarily think I was being a Theory X in the beginning type leader. I was oh gosh, he's lazy, he doesn't want to do anything, he needs a lot of encouragement. But as we kind of progressed and we've been working together the past couple of weeks, I feel like he has been a little lazy, a little he needs encouragement to do good work. He needs, he's not as self-controlled maybe as I am. Like when we can work by ourselves in our rooms, like I get my stuff done, my work done, because like I don't want to bring it home. I want to be done with it. But it got me to thinking, like, do the people that we lead, like our followers, do they sometimes play into the theory X, theory Y? Like, we come in being open-minded as a leader. You have to be open-minded to everybody and their abilities. But are they, but their actions, speak louder than their words? Because he would say, like, yes, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. But when it came to the table and us to discuss, and, as a grade level or us individually, he seemed like he was being a little, like, lazy and wasn't doing the work. So it makes it seem like maybe I could be the type X leader where I see people as lazy and unmotivated. But I feel like the people that you're leading maybe make you somewhat of a type X leader and not a type Y. Because like I like to see as everybody as they're ready to work, they're motivated, they have the self-control, they're ready to do what's best for everybody. But it just got me to thinking watching that video of, like, I think the followers sometimes make us be a different type of leader, not for everybody, but for maybe just them, because they fall into some of those categories of being unmotivated and not wanting to work. But I've also, known people that are motivated and they have self-control and they want to do good work. They want to do what's best, which I would say would be a good example of my other coworker. She's very motivated, wants the best for her kids, and we, us together, when we work together, and like she was my leader for a little bit because I was new to the grade level. She was a great leader. Like she was, showed me that what you put in, what you get out type of thing. And I think she was I fit into her leadership in the way she was because I was that type of person. But it just got me to thinking about type X and type Y leadership and how I want to be perceived by my followers. I definitely don't want to be a type X, but I don't want to be a type Y. But if they're doing certain things that they fall into the unmotivated category versus being the motivated and wanting what's best, then I think you become somewhat of that leader because you're going to believe like people don't want to work sometimes. But it's just my little reflection over the video you played for us for the Sunday reflection.